if we didn't start in Supta Baddha Konasana, I think my students would think there was something terribly wrong, right? Yeah, truly. And I know that because for the last 20 years, when I'm not in the room, I come into the room and everybody's in this pose. The question is, how do you want to be in this pose? Do you want to be on a bolster with a blanket for your support underneath the head like so? And you would have your buttocks right here leaning over, or bricks. And you may also want to use a strap, but we're not staying a long time. We're just staying a good time. So thank you for that giggle. That's a sign of enlightenment, to look ridiculously happy. So paint that brush within. Start to create that sense of being happiness. As you start to deepen your breath, as you start to feel the inhale lift the armpit chest and the center chest, following through the exhale, feel the exhale go right to the very end. And you can extend the life of that breath by softening the breath at the end of that breath to extend the life. Extending the life of each breath as it comes, allowing each moment to unfold into the next. Visualize the breath as it unfolds so fluidly that it connects like water. Especially at the end and the beginning, making that breath fluid from the very moment, from the onset to the end. And then let's pause now at the end of each breath. Let's pause and linger in that moment of stillness before you begin that next new breath. Feel how slowing the journey down as you linger in that moment of stillness brings you right into the present. Pressing through the outsides of the feet, take the knees away from the hips by following that line of energy from the hip along the top of the thigh out through the knees. And on that next inhale, take your hands to your elbows and reach the elbows up and overhead. So breathe deep into that upper thoracic spine. Breathe deeply. Feel the movement the breath brings to the body as you breathe. Widening the under armpit chest from the center out to the sides. See if you can open the outer armpit area just a little more away from that center line in the body. Lower ribs drop down. The armpit chest lifts on both the inhale and the exhale. Let's change the clasp of the hands to the elbows. Breathe deeply, everybody. Breathe and let your thoughts go. Let your mind take a back seat. Let your mind enjoy the ride. See if you can take your knees down and away just a little further by pressing through the outside of the feet. Breathing into that effort. Good. Let's release the arms. Inhale as you lift the knees up to center. Let's take the feet hip width apart, and just to release the lower back, press through all four corners of both feet, lifting your hips. That's tuck and gently scoop the pelvis in and under, scooping the sits bones, gently drawing the tailbone forward and up. Good job, everybody. Good job. Let's drop the hips down. Dropping your knees over to the right. Since we're here, this is probably a great time to take a stretch. So just bring your blanket underneath your head. Let's draw the thighs into the chest and just take a little rock here. That's just rock from side to side. Releasing through your lower back, releasing through your hips. Let's open the arms out to the T position. Try and keep your shoulder blades grounded. Let's drop the knees over to the left. So if you're super tight, sometimes taking a bolster underneath that outer thigh or a brick, or even something in between the inner thighs. Tools allow the body to go deeper through that support. And as we inhale, feeling that upper chest lift, feeling that upper thoracic open, we gaze slightly to the right. The chin is tracking right above the sternum. Breathe deeply. This is a great axle twist, and it requires the breath to detox the spine. And over time, with the breath, with the use of this deep breathing, we start to feel the body receive this new place. This more open place. inhale, lift the knees up through center, and as you exhale, drop the knees over to the right. One side may be different than the other. Just focus on your breath as you observe. It's just an observation, no conclusions. And as you gently gaze to the left, just be aware of the neck. So the chin typically is pretty close to the sternum. And we just use the breath to open that upper chest. Deep breaths, deep inhale. Feel how the breath moves the body. So you want to create enough of a deep inhale and exhale that you can feel the body moving. Conscious breathing to create space inside the body with the breath. Good. So the core is very important. So try and plant those shoulder blades. We're going to inhale, lift the knees up through center, and this time just come 3/4 of the way to the left, pause, come up through center, come 3/4 of the way to the right, pause. So we're rolling from side to side. Just waking up the core. As we twist. Walter, are you okay there? So lift your feet off the ground. And then you're rolling from side to side. That's it. You got it. Very nice. So if you wanted to add another movement, you could straighten that top leg and reach through the heel, and then coming over and extending. Whatever feels right for you. We're just trying to engage the core, draw your knees into your chest, into your chest. That's it. Good. Very nice. Okay, great. So since we're down here, let's take our happy little band. This wasn't really on the agenda, but let's take the happy band around the upper thighs. So you got it. So it's up to you whether or not you want something underneath the back of your head. We're bringing the feet together. And we're just having the knees stacking above the hips. Now draw the belly down to the floor, lower ribs down, but create space behind the lower back. So there needs to be a sense of space behind the lower back, and we're just using the knees as a hinge as we drop the heels into the buttocks and up, nice and slow. So you're right on the center of your buttocks, right on your sacrum. the important organs are in the torso. And this is an important movement, and you're working right on that shelf, the sacrum. The shoulders are gently tucking in and under. Lower ribs are down. Armpit chest lifts. Good. Squeezing the heels into the buttocks. So for some of us, this is really easy. If your core is really strong, hallelujah. That's all I have to say. Okay, let's come back to that neutral starting position. Heels together, squeeze the heels, and we're just opening the knee. Good. Deep stretch here. So as you press the right foot into the floor, you're reaching the right hand in the opposite direction. So there's a nice counter stretch here. And you lift the belly. Tuck your pelvis gently so as not to give yourself a backache. And we're just opening here. We're giving the body time to breathe. As I said, this is a double back bend. It's a twist for the spine. It's a lateral twist. Lift your belly, stretch your hand microscopically. And then let's slowly come up. Oh, nice. Let's come over to the other side. That's it. So breathe here, breathe, breathe, breathe. Remember, twists need the breath. Don't let your mind steal the energy of the moment. Breathe to create change from the inside. Nice. Let's slowly come up. And come in. I feel like we forgot something, but maybe I just want to do it again. So let's come on to the belly. I've been newly obsessed with the belly. The blanket is just to have nearby in case you need it for your head, depending on where you are. And you can also use your strap. It just really depends on where you are in the pose. So anyhow, we're coming onto the belly here. Looking ridiculously happy. That's it. So elbows underneath the shoulders. See if you can make your forearms so that they're truly parallel. So if they're in like this, that's not parallel. Try to open them so truly the wrist is in line with the elbow. And then as you spread your fingers nice and wide, press down through the inside of the palm. It will help to release your shoulders. It's not an easy thing to do. The first time to really experience it, have someone press the inner wrist down. And you'll go, oh wow, that's cool. All right, bring your feet closer together and then press through the tops of the feet and lift your knees. Lift your belly. Now squeeze your inner shoulder blades together, outer shoulder blades back. Outer back forearms, back, back, back. So draw those back arms straight back. Press through the tops of the feet to create the counter stretch. Feel the counter stretch. You don't need a chiropractor. This is much cheaper and it's easier. You don't have to go anywhere. Just come onto your floor while you're watching TV. While chaos can be going around you, you can create a little peace and tranquility just by doing a yoga pose. Feel those shoulder blades. Missy, lift up, yes. All right, let's take the right arm forward. So it's up to you where you take that hand. We're just sliding the left knee forward, and let's bend the right leg and catch the left hand to the right foot. And we're trying to dip in a bit, so you're almost heading towards the inner right thigh. Drawing the heel to the buttocks. This is my new obsession. So get that hip down. Let it connect with the earth. And then lengthen that thigh from the hip to the knee. Feel the length. That area in there, that hip flexor area, can make a huge difference when you're walking. It can help to prevent the head from tipping forward to use the momentum instead of having a nice open stance. So this is an important area because it does affect the upper chest in that the head tips forward and we close down the upper thoracic. So think about length, think about lifting the armpit chest. We could take this to a whole new level. If we had a strap, we could take a strap around this whole upper body, but I think it might be not what we had planned today. So let's continue on as I deviate there. So press down through the top of that right thigh. So we're working on that right thigh. Everybody press down through that right thigh as you bring the right foot to the floor, rolling towards your back body. So the foot comes to the floor, and then we start to straighten that left leg. And see how I nicely have a block here? That would be cool too. Eventually we take the right hand to that left foot. Or we can use, as I mentioned, a strap. But think about lifting the center and the armpit chest. Think about opening your upper thoracic as you press down through the top of that right thigh. So that's a given. We continue that action throughout. And even micro movements over time can start to change this pose. For example, if you wanted to gently draw the toes of that left foot towards the shin more, lengthening through that left Achilles heel, that left heel. Yeah, even that can create a deep stretch through the left side. And we're lifting the center of the chest and the armpit chest. Let's release that right foot, bring your knees together. Let's come on to the belly. And here's another new obsession because I saw my 103-year-old lady hold the plank position for 3 minutes. So here we go. So as you interlace your hands, open your wrists and press down through the outsides of the wrists. The elbows are underneath your shoulders, and then we simply Tuck those happy toes, lift your hips and buttocks as you tuck the toes in and under. So press down through those outer wrists. It affects a lot. Try and decrease the space behind those outer back wrists. Lift your sternum, lift your belly, reach back through your heels, roll your inner ankles out. This helps to draw the inner heels together. We just do what we can. We just do what we can. That's your best. Doing what you can. And as I love to demonstrate, so if you were not being challenged by this at all, you could bring the nose forward by rolling over the toes and back, over the toes and back. So can you imagine 3 minutes? She holds this for 3 minutes. That's how she's lived to be 103. All right, let's just linger here for a moment. Let's come into that lovely dolphin pose by walking the feet in towards the elbows. Drop your head. Lift your hips, drop your head. Heels down. So tuck, tuck, tuck your pelvis, heels down by pressing through the balls of the feet, pressing through those big toes as you roll your inner ankles out to feel those shins draw back, the outer hips and outer buttocks, cheeks draw in. Drop your head. Let's walk the feet back. Again, coming into the plank. Hips down. And let's thank God we only have 2 sides, right?
Right.
I know, really. All right, so let's bring the right knee forward. Bend the left leg, catch the right hand to the left foot. So these are stretches that I live by. I love them. They're deep hip opening. They're back bends for the spine. So they're highly effective in turning back the clock, in taking away that deep, deep, deep tension in the body. So pressing down through the top of that left thigh, let's take the left foot. Oh, we have to spend a little more time here, I apologize. Heel to the buttocks, heel to the buttocks. Whew. So releasing that left hip, try to drop the left hip down, right into the floor, heel to the buttocks. Yes, even more, even more. See if you can feel as though you were helping draw the heel to the buttocks by squeezing the buttocks cheek in, by using that glute. So at home, I will linger in these poses for long periods, and it helps immensely. I'll linger long enough for something to change, where I feel like a real shift. That's how long you linger. Unless you're in a yoga class. Heel to the buttocks, heel to the buttocks. Go, 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 one more. Good, all right. Let's roll towards the back body, bring the left foot to the floor. And let's walk the right foot towards the hand. So this is where having maybe a blanket underneath your head could be helpful. But the main action is to take that left foot to the floor, pressing through the top of that left thigh. again, those micro movements can mean a lot when they translate inside. See if you can just simply try to draw the toes of that right foot a little closer to the shin. So it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Slowly release that left foot. Bring your knees together. Let's roll knees and pausing and drawing the knees in. Lower ribs down, knees out, and pause and down. Out and pause and down. So this is a great little core movement because it doesn't stress the neck. Breathe deeply. So thank goodness I have a nice easy band. That's all I have to say. All right, good job you guys. All right, this is also very good for the back. Let's drop the feet down to the floor, right into the buttocks. And all you're going to do is drop that knee out to the side and up. Out to the side and up. Good job. So by working on the legs, it really can help to rewrite where the tension lives and bring the work down to where it should be. The legs are very strong part of the body. We need to have them carry their load, their fair share. Good job, you guys. Okay, let's change sides. Let's take the left knee out to the side. So as I said, I have a nice easy band. Walter, you may have to be working really hard. Good job. Yeah, it's very good for the back, for the hips. You guys are doing great. Your backs will thank you. Your shoulders will thank you. Everything will thank you. I actually learned this movement at Mount Sinai, TRI. Where I spent 29 nights. So these are some of the moves that I value greatly. Why would I rewrite the wheel, reinvent the wheel when it's The brilliance is already here. So this is just a shared movement that is extremely helpful for a lot of what we do in yoga. It's a Pilates style movement. Good job, you guys. All right, that's just, come on up. And we're gonna just, so you can see me, come on to your side. And you see how I'm lining everything nicely up here? And I'm just bending my knees, squeezing my heels to my buttocks. So the knees are not out in front. They're lining up with the hips, and then we just lift the leg, and so on. Again, another really great movement. These are just some things that you can do. That's it. So you guys have the hard bands. I have a really easy band. So you're squeezing your heels. Okay, and then let's swing round and do the other side. Isn't this fun?
Yes.
I know, it is. It's really good for you. All right, so remember, that's it. We want to have the knees and hips in line, and then we bend the heels, squeeze the heels, and then here we go. Good. So you can really feel it running up the whole spine, can't you? It's really quite interesting. Just squeeze your heels. Yeah, squeeze those outer buttocks cheeks. Those happy glutes, as they say. Okay, we're almost ready to move on. Now that we've woken up the body here. Good. So we're going to come round into a table position, keeping the band on. Let's tuck the toes, and we're coming into downward dog. Now you're going to lift your right leg up and back, 1 and down, and then up and back, 2. You're going to do this for 5. Good, let's change sides. Good job, you guys. All right. Let's come on down and just take the band off. Nicely done. harder than it looks, right? I know. But what it helps to do is draw that femur bone back. Can you feel how it helps to draw and lengthen the whole lower part of the spine? It's pretty cool. Try it at home, folks. Nice. Okay, so we're coming back into downward dog. Let's tuck the toes in and under, lifting up and back. The focus is to take a look at your hands and feet. Line everything nicely up if you can. Please and thank you. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Have the arms dead straight as you roll the creases of the inner elbows up to the sky. Lift those hips. Lift the knees up towards the upper thighs. And then press your heels down as you lift the hips up. The more you use your legs, the longer your downward dog will last. Let's lift that left leg straight up, bend the knee, take the heel to the buttocks as you lift the knee to the sky. Good. Let's take the left foot down. Let's lift the right leg up. That's it. And bend the knee. Squeeze the heel to the buttocks. As you lift the knee up to the sky, press the left heel down, lift the left kneecap up. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Lift that knee up, up, up. Nicely done. Let's take the right foot to meet the left. Walk your hands towards your feet. Uttanasana. So forward fold is about the upper body surrendering over the lower half. So bring your hips so that they stack above the knees, knees above the ankles. Roll your inner ankles out. Inner thighs back. So as you roll those inner ankles out, press hard through those heels, those back outer heels. Feel your outer shins draw back. Feel your outer hips drawing back. Everything's drawing back as the head hangs from the middle of the spine. Let's bring the hands to the shins, reach the heart forward into the flat back. Try and think about lengthening your neck by drawing the shoulders away from the ears, and then reach those creases of the armpit chest further forward. So use the strength of the legs. Good. One more time, that's fold forward. Let's take the hands to the hips as you come all the way up. Okay, good. Well, since we're here, we might as well take a quick little chest stretch. Just because we're here, right? All right. So just walking forward. So feel the armpit chest lift, but feel the action come from your feet. So you're pressing down through your feet. So as you press your feet down, the muscles of the shins and calves, everything should get tight. The outer buttocks, cheeks should draw in to propel the upper chest. Fly like an eagle. See if you can lean just a micro movement further forward. And then lift your armpit chest. And then slowly walk back, coming out the way you came. Yeah. Good. So, just because we're here, should we do the side stretch? Yes, okay, that was a definitive yes. So we don't want to come so far out that we start to pull and lift the shoulder. So just far enough that there's a 90-degree angle, and then we turn. So the importance of this is that over time, as we age, we have imbalance. So one side may be different. One side may need more attention. But think about this armpit chest area lifting. Lifting. Breathing. Try to drop the right shoulder, but feel the armpit chest lift. So that's a breath movement. It's not a muscular movement. It's spatial. Drop the shoulder, drop the shoulder. So 1 in 4 people will have a major shoulder issue in their lifetime. So I think we should work on the shoulders more often. So as we come out, let's just take that right hand to the wall. And again, that 90-degree angle. Spread your fingers as wide as you can. And then that shoulder drops again, but the upper arm rolls out, and at the same time, the inner arm rolls in. See if you can create that action of the upper arm rolling out to open the shoulder, and the inner, and here we are. So this is much more intense than it looks. This is, again, one of those, we could do it a lot, but it's so intense. See if If you can create those two actions together, that double action of rolling the upper arm out and the lower part of the arm in. That's right. All right. Let's take the left hand to the rope. Come out to the 90-degree angle without lifting the shoulder. Let's turn forward. Even a couple of minutes. It's just a couple of minutes. And every person in the room will walk out being taller, not just feeling taller, being physically taller. That's how much you're releasing the nerves in the body, the angst, the tension. The first time I had a measurement, I call it a yoga measurement, because I was taller than when I had been born, and I was like, wow, what's going on here? So we are opening and liberating. We're creating space through the side, from the hip to the underarm, and that's the side of the spine. We're opening the upper thoracic. The shoulder blades now have a chance, instead of lifting in the inside of the shoulder blade and winging, it now has a chance to start to remember how to lay flatter and away from that ear. And our effort is to breathe, to not allow the mind to run wild, is to rein the mind in and focus on your breath, because it is oh so important. It activates the left prefrontal cortex. That's your feel-good center. So the more you breathe, the better you feel. The deeper you breathe, the more things sort of shift inside. All right, now that I've held you long enough, let's go out the way we came. Hoo-ah. All right, because you're such fine humans, I'm going way off. Yes, thank you, dear. We're going to do a little bit of rope work. Not a lot, but we work on this 90-degree angle. And now just start by spreading your fingers and dropping the shoulder. Just that alone is an effort for a lot of people. Just to spread your fingers wide. And watch what happens to the shoulder blade when you just try and open your hand against the wall. And then we roll that upper arm out to externally rotate that shoulder to open the shoulder, and the bottom of the arm rolls in. And those two take place together. That unity, that double action together is yoga. That's the union. Very nice, very nice. So that's release. Now let's take the bolster, because I don't trust you all. When I mean I want your feet at least a foot away from the wall. I want your feet at least a foot away from the wall. So we're just coming into a beautiful forward bend. So the further away the more you have this nice incline. And if you need your blocks, take your blocks. See if you can feel your kneecaps lifting, feel your sits bones walk up the wall. So feel your kneecaps pull up towards your upper thighs. Again, we roll those inner ankles out so the outer shins draw down instead of out, and the knees are neutral, straight up and down. That's what we want, instead of rolling in. And then we ground those femur bones, we tighten the muscles around the thighs. We feel a sense of the sits bones lifting and walking up the wall, inching microscopically. And those inner thighs are drawing out. So right where that crease of the leg and the buttocks meet, there's a crease there. And it widens from the inner to the outer thigh. Just as the inner thighs roll in, that helps to facilitate that. And then that action of rolling your inner ankles out neutralizes. So there's a real force happening in the legs. Here we go. We're going to push away from the wall, come into that forward fold, drop your head and let your head hang from the middle of your spine. Let's take the heels and lift the heels and bring the heels together. So here we are. Just do as many as you can. If you could do 10, congratulations ahead of time. But this really uses all of the leg. It's a full body experience again. So nice and slow, keeping the heels high. We just bend the knees, come down, and up. So think about quality, not quantity. Quality. And then let's come up, let's take the feet again, open the heels, and let's come into a chair position against the wall. So your sacrum is the connecting force to the wall. Try and find as best you can a 90-degree angle. And let's get the shoulders to the wall. Shoulders to the wall, sacrum to the wall, sacrum to the wall. Breathe deeply here, nice and easy. So if you wanted to work harder, you could get weights, right? But this again, lower ribs down and in, sacrum to the wall, shoulder blades to the wall. Breathe deeply. See if you can drop a little lower, Ali. You've got the leg strength, you're a biker. There we go. That's the difference. Sacrum to the wall, lower ribs to the wall. Good job. Wow, Walter, you might even be a little low. Good job. Woo-wee. straighten the legs, push away. One more time, that's fold forward. And if you're not on your mat, step on your mat. And then let's drop the knees down, because we're going to do my favorite student's pose. This one. So it depends on your body as to how high that brick is. It can be a full tilt brick, or it can be a no brick. But you want to press that left foot into the floor. Feel a sense of the hips coming forward, scooping your pelvis gently, lifting the belly. There we go. Oh, Ali, take that arm over. Atta girl, good, nice. Good job. So lift your belly and tuck. Squeeze that outer buttocks cheek. Breathe deeply here. Looks relaxing, but it's not, right? Open your fingers, open your hands, that's it. Stretch that wrist, reach. Good. Give that armpit chest a real deep stretch. And let's slowly come up. I know. I always think of this as your mother's yoga, but it's one of my favorite poses. And you can see it's a double back bend, it's a twist. It's so fab. It's so useful in today's day and age. It's a lateral twist. You're opening the pelvic floor, the upper chest. Lift your belly, tuck, tuck, tuck. See if you can bring that right hand a little further to the left. And again, roll that inner ankle out. Keep that knee nice and neutral, nice and safe. You can't walk without your knees. Good job. Let's slowly come up. Whew, hallelujah. Yes, you can feel the tension. I know it. Nicely done. So let's come over to the other side. One more time onto the belly. And we're just going to do just a little bit of work on the back, on the lower back. We okay with that? Okay. As I said, these are great movements. Bring your palms and stack your palms forehead on top of the palms. Bring your feet together, and we're just kicking the legs. Feel how the legs are getting longer? That is actually really happening. Release the legs. Just walk your knees out to the edge of the mat. Bring your feet together. Squeezing your feet. Let's lift the knees gently and hold. And down. So we're holding for about 5 of our own counts as we lift the knees. Press your heels together. That's the main action. Press your heels together. So we're going for the quality, the intention. So it's not a matter of the large reps, just think about quality. Think about that very moment. And now let's extend the legs. Squeeze the buttocks, cheeks. And release. Let's walk the feet in. Hands to the lower ribs. Squeeze the elbows back and in. Just pausing here. Let's press through the tops of the feet. Lift your knees. And we're just drawing those elbows back and in. Back and in. Lifting the chest. So the kneecaps should be lifting. Feel your outer buttocks, cheeks drawing in. Good. Pressing through the tops of the feet. Let's reach the arms back. Let's reach the arms all the way forward. We might run into each other. Looking straight down. Let's take the arms all the way back. Press through the tops of the feet. Squeeze the outer buttocks, cheeks. One more time. Let's take the arms forward. And back. Again, let's take the hands to the lower ribs. Draw the elbows back and in. Back and in. Good job. And let's lift up into the table position. And we're just doing a few spinal waves here. So release your head, lift your belly. Focus on feeling the belly lift up into the spine. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Let's roll one vertebrae at a time as we come through the spinal wave into extension. Drop your shoulders, lift your lower ribs. You can feel how it releases the armpit chest. It's pretty cool, actually. So we're just dropping those shoulders down, arms straighter and straighter. Lower ribs up and in. Good. See if you can feel as though you're reaching your sternum forward as you lift your belly and lower ribs in. Very nice. All right, let's do a few spinal waves to the rhythm of our own breath now. Nice and smooth, nice and fluid. Try and pause in between both the extension of the spine and the flexion of the spine as we curl. Good. Let's come back. And just before we finish, let's just take the feet into the butterfly position. So this is typically not Iyengar in that we want to have the hips in line with the knees, but we're just taking a deep stretch here by taking the hands behind and lifting the hips. So we're keeping the hips lifting, and we're just pressing through those outer feet, trying to take the knees away from us. Knees away. Knees away. Try and press through those outer back heels. Getting those hips as close to those heels as you can. And then taking the hips down, just take your hands to your feet. And again, lift tall. Lift nice and tall. Press through the outsides of the feet, yeah. And we're just trying to take those knees down and out, away from the hips as we sit tall, meaning the spine is in extension. To do one more. How about we just do one more? Let's take that happy bolster and just have your blocks in front. We're just taking that right leg over the bolster. And walking that left leg back. So just do your best. But the weight is in that right hip, and we're flexing that right foot. We're just getting somewhere. We're just getting rolling here. Yeah. And sometimes two bolsters can work really well, but we'll see. So you see how I'm trying to bring that left hip forward towards the right heel and the right hip back. So we flex the right foot, digging that heel of the right foot into the bolster, taking that left hip towards the right heel. And when there's no space, meaning the two are connected, then you've started to progress, and that's when you would start to come further into the pose and bend your left leg if you wanted to. Does anybody want to bend their left leg? Maybe not. You can try if you wanted to. Just, you can see my leg is already spraying out to the side, but it's a nice opener for this. So lift, lift, lift. Back bend, another back bend. Oh yeah. That's right. Drop your shoulders just a bit. Try and drop them. Yeah, just that's it. Yeah, just try to have the weight more in the hip and squeeze that left hip to the bolster and try and relax your arms more and more and more. All right, let's take the left foot forward. Just for a moment, let's fold forward here. So we're just going to fold forward. Just fold forward, that's it. Lift your chest. Yeah, grab whatever you got. Yeah, great idea. So you're lifting your chest, lifting your chest. That's it. You got it. Drop your shoulders. Drop. Nice. Much better. So soften your chin a bit. Soften the chin down just a bit. Ali, drop your chin. Drop. Yes. And then lift your chest a bit. Yes. Better. So this, you're not using your neck so much. Exactly. And then let's take the right leg back. Yeah, and take that right hip forward. Right hip forward as much as you can. Just do your best. Understanding it may not feel like it's enough, but it's your best, right? So that right hip is drawing to the left heel, and you're flexing that left foot. You're lengthening again through the instep of the inner left ankle. You're lengthening that left heel, that Achilles heel. You're digging it to the bolster. The more you dig that heel, the more you can start to draw the right hip to the heel. And the more you get a little more in balance. Yeah. So you want to bring that right hip more and more forward. You too, Missy. Right hip forward. So there's less of an incline in that lower back and sacroiliac area. So that the hips are square. So that we could start to progress in the pose. Maybe not today. Tomorrow, exactly. Bless your heart. Tomorrow. Drop your shoulders, lift that armpit chest, the sternum, the back ribs. Lift that area, lift the belly. All right. We're done. So we are bringing the bricks here like so. So a little bit of space depending on how, how long your legs are. And you have your blanket so that you have the round edge underneath your neck. And the heaviest part of the thigh is on the bolsters. So we have a sense of the pelvis scooping to release the lower back. And the heavy part of the thighs are now on the bolster. We have a nice connection with the shoulder and the ears thanks to the blanket. Tuck the shoulders in and under. And let yourself float off into the heavens. Floating off as you soften the eyes. Softening your eyelids. Softening the entire body. Softening the inner corner of the ears. This is where tension begins. Softening that inner corner of the ear area. Slowly moving your fingers and your toes as you come back to the breath. Gently drawing your knees to your chest, take that final rock. And then whenever you feel ready, make your way to an easy seated position. Feel the stillness, feel the openness. These are your creation. Feel the presence of all things as we reach the arms up. Namaste. 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 Namaste.